Today we're going to talk about where all the qualified coaching prospects are hiding in your Facebook ad audience and exactly how to reach them. You see, here's the problem. A lot of coaches want to use Facebook ads, or you're trying Facebook ads. You're kind of at that place where you're ready to scale. Maybe you've ran a bunch of ads and it only brought broke people, or you're trying to start scaling up now that you got clients coming in from organic or what have you. But it seems like you're worried because you don't know if you get broke people. All you ever hear is you getting others getting broke people, or everything has gotten you broke people. So I want to explain to you how to find the group of people on Facebook in your audience or niche who actually have the money. Okay, so let's get into it. The first thing you got to understand is the biggest myth is using the right interest groups. Okay, so here's how this works if you're not familiar. Facebook has a section in the ads manager where you can look up interest groups and target them. So for example, you can target people who are interested in, are followers of John Maxwell. That's a big one. He's an author, if you don't know, business author, right? Or followers of Oprah Winfrey or Warren Buffett or whatever. And what a lot of coaches think is they think, oh, I've just got to get the right followers, meaning I've got to target the right authors. And then what will happen is my ad will go to those people's followers. And because of that, I will have my ad go into the right place. Because let's face it, if you're a leadership coach and you target followers of John Maxwell, well, theoretically, that means your ad's going to be shown to followers of John Maxwell, which means they're your people, and bingo, you got your audience. Just doesn't work like that anymore. That kind of thinking worked really well about 2 years ago now. And what's happened is the AI, the artificial intelligence within Facebook ads, is way smarter than the interest groups. So the training that most coaches have is interest groups. Find these little targeted groups of people, or if you're in a diet, weight loss niche, it's like people interested in a certain author or so on and so forth. And I find them, boom, I've got it. Well, it just doesn't work like that anymore, okay? Now, obviously we want to get in the range so you can use interest groups, but other audiences work as well. Lookalike audiences of people look like on your list. Or we use a lot of campaigns right now with no targeting at all. Just male or female and country and age and zero targeting. But what I wanted to do is just share with you this first thing, which is a myth, is that interest groups are going to make it all better. They won't. It's not going to happen. There's not some secret interest group out there that if you target it, it's just going to get you qualified people. Doesn't work like that. You need them, but they're like 5% of the problem. So we have to do basically 5 things, and we're going to go really quick here. The first thing that you need to understand is that Facebook only goes into 0.5% to 1% of your whole audience, okay? And I'm going to talk about how to run it, what size of audiences you need to run. But you might be running an audience and you're like, yeah, I'm targeting 50 million people. Well, like, I don't care what kind of budget you have. You're never going to fully get into that audience. It's just, you can't. You don't have a big enough budget, especially if you're 10, 20, 30 bucks a day. It's that literally is like getting in a dinghy on the ocean and like paddling out and fishing, right? Which is with a fishing reel looking for a fish. I mean, the odds of you finding the right fish that is interested in the bait on your hook is like winning the lottery. And it's the same thing here. You have to realize just because you have an audience doesn't mean Facebook's going to go into that whole audience. They're most likely going to go into about 0.5%, maximum about 1%. And if you're running an ad to this massive audience, you're done. Like, good luck. So 0.5%. Now, why is that important? It's because the second thing you got to understand is this. You only should be running an ad to ideally maximum about a 2 million person audience if your budget's under $100. And I'll talk about the other thing that's even more important than that in a minute. Here's why. You're only going to go into about 0.5%. And what's going to happen is Facebook's going to launch, you're going to launch that ad, And then Facebook's going to lock in on a chunk of that audience, right? And if the audience is too broad, they're not going to get enough data, right, to lock in. They're not going to know where the fish are. So what we've got to do is, one sec here, I have a drink of water from my little blue sippy cup, is that we have to narrow the audience, but not too far. Because remember, it's only going into 0.5%. So if your audience is like 50,000 people, it's too small and it's just not going to work. The AI is not going to find your people. So about 2 million on the broader end. Ideally, if you're at a $10, $20, $30 a day budget, $1 million is good. Right around there, ideally not too much less unless you know what you're doing. Okay, because we need to have a structured audience so Facebook can lock in to that and find that ideal 5%. Now, how do we figure out how to get them into the, or 0.5%? How do we get them into the right 0.5% pie slice? We're going to talk about that. But the number one thing you've got to do within this is narrow your targeting to the news feed only, because it's got the best quality people, and everybody's market I've ever been on. I've coached over 1,300 people. I've seen probably thousands of ad accounts by now, and every single one, the news feed works best. Okay, you can use all the other ones after once it's working, like Instagram Reels and Instagram Stories and Facebook video and all that kind of stuff. Newsfeed first, okay? So we got to get the qualified people to make sure this works. Now, then what do we need to do? Because we still, great, that's awesome. We still haven't found the qualified people. That's the next thing. That's number 3, okay? Number 3 and 4. So before I get to that, what I need you to do is hit the subscribe button on this video. As you can see, I got a ton of videos, always create new ones. And you're going to miss them if you don't hit the subscribe button. They're all free. I've spent millions on Facebook ads for my coaching business. I continually spend a lot of money. And then I have a lot of coaching clients. And they take what we're learning and discovering and they share it here on YouTube for our Skool community. So hit the subscribe button so that way you're not going to miss out on any future videos. Now, the next thing we got to do is remember, number 1 is Facebook only goes into 0.5%. Number 2, keep that audience a proper size, unless our coaching clients, some of them are do bigger and stuff, but that's because we have more data on what's going on. Number 3, the third thing that you need to do is use a disqualifier ad, because remember, your job is to get Facebook to go where the buyers are, where the qualified people are. So if you're a mindset coach, hypothetically, right? Because that's a broad market and it works. So let's say I'm a mindset coach and I run an ad saying, hey, are you struggling with confidence and clarity in your life and you'd like to fix that? I've got this free training. I mean, who doesn't struggle with that, right? So you literally just called out everybody in your audience, and Facebook's going to initially run your ad to the people who are most likely to click on it, which are people who have nothing to do all day, most likely, and they click on everything, and they probably don't have any money, and they're probably anxious and all that kind of stuff because they have no job, right? You don't want those people, all right? You can't help them, and so we need to get to the people who have the money. So what if I shifted that and I said, hey, are you a busy 6-figure professional who is overwhelmed with all the important tasks you have to do at your company, and you just don't have clarity on what to do next, and you're constantly stressed out? Well, I've got this, webinar and so on and so forth. So do you see what I'm doing? I'm using language that only a person who was working 50, 60 hours a week, is a professional, so on and so forth, would follow, right? That they're going to lock in on that. And somebody who's not qualified is like, no, that's not my problem. I've got, all these other issues. That isn't one of them, right? So they're just going to keep scrolling. They're going to stop, read it, scroll. That's what you want them to do. So really the job of your ad, about 75 to 80% of it, is to disqualify people, to be like, hey, don't click on my ad. Don't click on it unless you're this person. But you can't tell people who are not qualified to not click on your ad. You can't, or you're just going to call them out. You can't say, hey, don't click on this ad unless you're making whatever amount of money, $100,000 a year or whatever, which isn't a lot anymore. But let's say that is. Then all these people are going to be like, well, I'd like to make $100,000 a year. I'll click that ad, right? Or they're just going to be like, why not? And they'll flame you in the comments and click on it. And tell all their friends to click on it and just waste your money, right? And so that's why you got to do that. And if you do that, it's going to lock in partly into the best 0.5% of your audience, right? See, this is all automated. This isn't that hard. Now, the fourth thing that's going to happen, remember we said there's 4 things. First thing is Facebook only goes into the about 0.5% of your audience, most likely. Second thing is keep that audience around 2 million and use the newsfeed only. Third thing is use a disqualifier ad. Fourth thing is we want to use a proper conversion objective, because here's what's going to happen. What's going to happen is you got to remember Facebook's going to go into that little chunk of your ad, and then people are going to register, okay? And when they register for something, you want to complete the feedback loop, and you want to get it to tell Facebook that Jason registered, go find more people like Jason. And then as that feedback loop gets bigger, as more people give you their name and email, then Facebook's going to take that data, shoot it over to the AI and the audience, and then it's going to constantly refine where it is in that pie of your ideal client. Does that make sense? And so the problem is a lot of coaches don't know how to do that, and so they're just using Facebook's default stuff, and they're going to optimize for people who are clicking. You don't want people who are clicking. You want to find people who look like the people who are registering. If you're getting enough volume, you want to have Facebook optimized for the people who look like the people who are booking calls. But that's for another video. And so this way, it's going to dial the whole thing in. It's going to be like a well-oiled machine, sort of like a reactor that just keeps feeding itself. And it's going to constantly work its way into finding more of the people who look like the people who are qualified, locking in on that 0.5 to 1%, getting the right people, and the more it gets the right people, the more data it gets. And so it literally keeps getting better and better and better and better. And that's what you need to do in order to find the people on Facebook who have the money. Facebook wants to do it for you. They have every incentive to do it. They've given you all the tools, but that's what we have to do. So can I ask you a question? Why would you waste time on posting all over organic and all this other stuff trying to get clients when you literally have the greatest lead machine ever built to get you clients if you do it this way? So I have 2 things for you. The first thing is, if you're a member of our Skool community, what I want you to do right away is click the link under this video in the description or in the pinned comment and book your free Skool onboarding call. And what we're going to do is it's going to be a 15-minute call, and somebody from our team is going to map this out for you in your niche, dig into it, give you suggestions, give you feedback. It's literally 15 minutes, and they got nothing to sell you, okay? Zero. They can't. They're nothing. It's just a free call to help you look at what you're doing, give you suggestions on ways to tighten up your niche, your market, better angles, better stuff like that. And then look, if they think we can help you further, then they'll talk about potentially another call that might talk about our coaching. But that's later on. Let's just get you on that call, because watching video after video of figuring this stuff out is too hard. We're going to help you. Plus, we're going to unlock some extra training that literally is only available to our coaching clients. That's in our Skool community that's locked. We're going to get you that extra training as well. That's going to help you even more. So click the link below, book that call. Now, if you're not part of our Skool community, why not, right? It's free. Click the other link in this video. It's going to take you to our Skool community, where I'm going to give you our 300-word ad template, training on ads, all kinds of, basically a free course on figuring out your ideal clients, all that kind of stuff, all for free. You just got to click the link, get over there, and register, and you're in, okay? And this is super important because, look, I've spent millions on ads. We know how to do this, so it's super important you book that free onboarding, Skool onboarding call, so that we can dig into what you want to do, cut through the clarity, save you a whole ton of time figuring this stuff out. And pretty much everybody loves that call because it gives them so much help, so much clarity. And why do we do it? And why is it free? Because it's free, because we want to add some value to everybody who's in our community. And so you can realize, hey, we know what we're doing. And then if you feel like you'd like to have some talk about some coaching, we can do that a second call. But if not, that's great. We just help you out and you're good. And then you're going to know what to do. All right. So click the links below, and I hope this was helpful.